Today I wanted to raise a very important point about the recent fine which has been put by European Union on multiple banks. Actually, it includes Citibank, Chase and RBS. There are more banks in the picture, but I'm not putting these banks into the picture, and I'm actually now worried also. Who are banks in that? I think the fine is closer to 1.2 billion. But I would, as a treasury person, most of the people would know me that I'm a hardcore treasury person. I served 10 years as a head of treasury, dealt in the front office, interbank. Even today also, I'm very much active in the interbank market. I would have a different level of perception or my interpretation issue about these fixing. Now today during lunchtime, when I was actually, there is a place here which is, we have a Westin here actually. In Westin way, I always go to Westin for lunch. Actually not go to Westin for lunch, I will take that route for Westin to lunch, and there is a Bloomberg television here actually, big Bloomberg television. In this way, in my office I always on the Bloomberg, mobile phone on the Bloomberg, and where I always sit 5 minutes and see what all happening was on the Bloomberg. I love Bloomberg. I thank you Bloomberg for giving such a wonderful information to us. Very, very thank you to Bloomberg, Now in this, I would like to disregard one statement of Bloomberg with their permission. They said that, if I'm not mistaken, I still remember that loose lips and loose slips. So it was like loose lips and loose tips, or maybe something like loose lips and free tips led to $1.2 billion of fine on the banks. I was actually 5 minutes I sat, whenever I go for lunch, 5 minutes I sat near to Westin and see the Bloomberg, what is happening, because you get to know the full big screen, about the Bloomberg, and a lot of things, action is going on. But I would like to have my interpretation in that regard. So the interpretation is that, can the rigging be happened without the involvement of the senior management of the bank? I am quoting a hypothetical example here. And Treasury Consulting is not taking any indemnification, and we are hereby telling that it's just simply for the sake of example. I repeat, it is simply for the sake of example. There is no actual stuff which is happening in that regard. Only example, just an example. Can Goldman Sachs rigged currency with JP Morgan Chase without the involvement of Blankfin and now the Dillon with Dimon? Dimon, who is the boss of JP Morgan, and Dillon, and previous to Dillon we were having the Blankfin. Without involving Blankfin and Dimon, can the both banks rig each other? Or, sorry, can they rig the customers? Can they rig the small bank? Let me make a case here. Simple case. Reliance Industries, again it is an example. I'm not saying it is happening, example. Reliance Industries Limited is a big company in India. We know it's a petrochemical company. They are very well known to place onshore-offshore spread. Today I was computing onshore-offshore and I got to know that the 1 year onshore-offshore is 39 bips, boss. 1 year onshore-offshore spread has reached to 39 bips. Effectively, if Reliance would bet on that, then after 1 year, if their trade is of $100 million, then after 1 year, 0.39%, approximately 0.4% is the confirmed return Reliance is getting. Wherever RBI fixing would go, it doesn't make any sense. They would get the confirmed return, 0.39%. This is called beauty of the game. But for a minute, leave it aside. Reliance Industries Limited is a big setup in India and Singapore. Reliance Singapore, they are doing onshore-offshore spread. We everybody know. It's just a hypothetical example which we are doing. Simply hypothetical example. Reliance India is touched with Goldman Sachs, while Reliance Singapore is touched with Chase. And of course, generally what happens, onshore-offshore spread is done by the same bank, but this time we are deliberately taking different banks. Goldman Sachs and Chase is in touch with each other, right? Now, Reliance India will already have an inside information from Goldman Sachs that at this rate, the non-deliverable, assuming Goldman Sachs India would let Reliance India know that this would be the onshore, this would be the offshore premium we are fixing. This is the spot which we are fixing. We are trying RBI fixing here. JP Morgan Chase Singapore, who is taking non-deliverable, he is giving a writing or commitment on the phone that this is the outright, because in non-deliverable we always have outright actually. This is the outright which we are fixing. End result, just for the sake of example, Reliance Industries Limited would be in a tremendous gain. But can Goldman Sachs India and JP Morgan Chase Singapore, can they interact with each other without the involvement of the top bosses? or even if for the sake of example we don't say top bosses, just for the sake of example, we say that involvement of the people, those who head of trading, head of trade desk, because in every bank, Barclays, Bank of America, Citi, Standard Chartered, UBS, Deutsche, Goldman Sachs, BNP Paribas, ANZ, Westpac, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, Commonwealth Bank of New Zealand, HSBC, and you name any bank. These, they always have one common designation, which is head of front office, known as head of trading. If head of trading of both institutions, let's change example ANZ to HSBC, again an example. If the head of trading of these two are not in sync with each other, can that level of rigging be happen? And that head of level is doing the rigging because he is getting the profit. And if he is doing the profit, then that profit actually senior management is interested, because senior management knows very well that this is coming as the credit side of the P&L, which is increasing the EPS. Again and again, Treasury Consulting is raising a voice in the public domain that banks are actually rigging the show. They have only one thing within their mindset, and what that is how they can inflate their bonuses by inflating the EPS, which is earning per share. But we are not listening, and we really do not want you to listen to that regards. But when these judgments came, jurisdictions came, then we get to know that, boss, something messier is happening in the system. Something messier. Now, I would like to wind up my video with 3 questions here. My question number 1, can anyone give the guarantee that this rigging is not happening in Singapore? This question to Singapore government, Hong Kong government, India government, Dubai, and Europe, London, or US, Donald Trump. Can anyone give in writing that the size, scale, and the gravity of the rigging before the jurisdiction, when it went to the sub judice manner, before the jurisdiction, it is the same size and the gravity at which is actually dealt at? Even today, 2019, nobody can give in writing and sign in that letter that the LIBOR rigging is actually resolved. No one. And if you give me a call, no one can give in writing that LIBOR rigging has actually resolved, or we have resolved this problem, we fixed this problem. Then how accurate are these judgments? And point number 3, where are so-called regulators? Where were the regulators of European Union? Where were the regulators of the independent banks when they were doing that? Why they being not punished? Why they being not asked to go? What is the duty of the regulator? Is the duty of the regulator, and this is again an example, any country's regulation, is the duty of the regulator is just to get the salary and go to home and sleep, have a wonderful food and sleep? Or there is nothing duty of regulator? If a fraud is happening, then isn't the duty of the regulator to come in the picture and say that in your presence, why did that happen? Where were you? What you was doing? You being paid millions of dollars for that. Your remuneration is not in few $100s, it is millions of dollars. Where were you? How long we continue to give indemnification to the regulator? Today is the case of European Union. Few years ago, it was a case of LIBOR. God knows, 6 months down the line, we have fresh case. We don't know. Try and ask few questions that. I would like to summarize this video apart from these 3 questions and one statement. Whatever we see in the media is not always true. There are a lot of questions which media also not raising. We need to raise ourselves. And I hope you learn to it. With this, Treasury Consulting would like to thank you very much. You know my mobile number, 919899242978. You know our fixed income platform, www.fixedincome.global. And before winding up this video, at 11:15 Singapore timing today, I would like to let you know, 11:15 in the night, it is not the day, okay? I would like to let you know that in the next 2 years, neither I sleep nor I allow you to sleep. Everyone would be in the toes, because lot of action is happening. Lot of action is going to happen, is happening. Soon we see you soon, and hopefully in the next 3 days we have 30 more videos which we are posting on the YouTube, and once again we would be second fastest to cross 750. Have a great day.